Hello, and welcome to FiddleHed Fiddle Lessons. Let's learn how to tap our feet and play at the same time. So it's a pretty fun thing to do, but I'll say that it's pretty hard, and it's not something that if you're an absolute beginner you should try to do. Mainly because you want to be focused on your technique, your fiddle technique, and as you already have too many things you're thinking of. You're trying to get a good bow sound, trying to play in time, trying to remember what to do, trying to play in tune. So we don't want to add a whole other thing for your absolute beginners. But if you're like kind of getting advanced beginner, intermediate, you can start to try to do this. And I'm going to give you a very step-by-step way to learn how to tap your foot and play at the same time. Anyway, I'm just going to get into it. I have a whole bunch of other things to say, but I think that I want to cut to the chase. So first off, when I'm tapping in a lot of these videos, I have a tambourine that I'm tapping on. It's what I like about it is it's a way to make it louder. The crucial thing with foot tapping is you don't want to just do it like a light tap. You want to be able to hear it, audibly hear it, and it helps, I think, to just feel it as well. I'm just understanding this now that I'm talking about it while doing it. You feel it in your leg. You hear it with your ear, and so there's more information coming in. So I like using the tambourine for that purpose. Also, if I were not to use it and just stomp louder, I've got neighbors below, trying to be considerate to my neighbors because they have to listen to all this fiddling all day long. So anyway, so now I'm going to get into the 7-step guide for foot tapping, and it's if you've seen the lesson I've done on playing to a beat, then it's pretty much the same steps. You may get bored with this, but maybe not. There's actually something that's a little bit different about it, and I actually recommend before doing foot tapping to practice with a beat. That's a really useful thing. Just get the sense of like how a steady beat goes. And so anyway, the first step with foot tapping is to not even use your instrument. Set it down somewhere. And then just see how steady of a beat you can keep with the foot. Alright? The next step would be, and actually I think I include this in the same step is of playing without your instrument, is try to do it with just like a simple metronome beat. I'm going to try to call something up here real quick. I got it on my phone actually, so got a metronome here. So I'm going to speed it up to about 70 and just see if I can keep it going with that. Okay. So that's and then you could also try to do it with songs, music, all without playing. That's all in the first step, but it's an important step because we're playing just different instruments basically, so you want to practice each thing individually. Just like when you learn to play, you want to practice a lot of bowing without fingering. And then you move to just more fingering and maybe using plucking for learning fingering. That's how I usually teach it. And then you put them together. Same thing, you practice your foot separate, practice the thing you're going to do on fiddle, and then you try to put it together. So now we get to step 2 in this. We're going to foot tap, and then we're going to play the exact same thing. So I'm tapping quarter notes with my right foot, whatever your strong foot is, and I'm going to play the same exact thing with the bow. Sounds basic, but if you get really good at this, it'll really set you up for the next stages. You can do it faster and really slow. Slow can be difficult as well and change your bowing style. Third step is to do simple rhythmic patterns, like hoedown. Try with double stops if you know them, or alternating. Other rhythms like triplets. Alright. Step 4 would be to start adding a few left hand notes. Again, we're only adding left hand on step 4. We've already done a lot without even using the left hand. There's a lot you can practice with just simple elements. So let's just do open 1, open 1. And then we'll slowly make it harder. I'll do open, open, 1, 2, 1, open, 1, 2, 1. And in that way, I think you can see what you can do next. You can do a whole scale. And then you can do add variations to the scale. And so anyway, so if you can do these, and I have listed that this full scale is its own step. So that would be step 5, but that's not that important. I don't think. It's just that you go in this sort of stepwise manner. So I think if you can play a scale and with different variations, different rhythmic variations, especially maybe shorter and longer notes, like just try as many different rhythms as you can. You've basically learned how to do this at that point. And the next 2 steps are doing it on tunes, but if you really master it on your scales, then the tunes are like the icing on the cake. Alright? So the 6th step would be to tap your foot and play a simple part of a tune. So how about Arkansas Traveler? And here's an idea that just came to me. Instead, I was gonna say you could do that in a loop, the beginning of our first 4 notes. But an even easier step is to create a bar of rest in between. So like 3, 4, 3, 4. Now I'll try to do it just a continuous loop. Do a bigger piece of the song. Alright, then you would move on to the next piece, loop that, then you'd put those 2 pieces together and loop those. And if there's any struggle within that point, you cut it back down to a smaller piece and then you work on that, try to foot tap with that. There's a term for that I use, that I'm starting to use, which is micro learning, which is you're always, looking at the smallest unit you need to work on, and then if you get that and you go to a bigger thing and you can play that bigger thing fine, that bigger thing actually feels like a smaller thing, which is kind of interesting. So the last step in this is just taking all these parts that you've worked so diligently on and piecing them together into a tune. And the beautiful thing about all this is that if you really master each of these parts, then the whole tune just feels like one small little part. You just do it. It doesn't feel like this assembly of all these different things you have to remember. The tune just comes out. It's just like a word that you don't have to think about. So anyway, this is foot tapping. You turn yourself into a one-person band. It'll expand your musical perception. You'll be better able to hear what's going on when you're playing, hear what the guitarist is doing, because you're able to hear yourself and the other. Alright? So it really prepares you to play with others. It's sort of like playing with a beat, but I feel like it's maybe a little bit harder. It's probably, anyway, why don't you try it? Try it out. Let me know how it goes. Let me know what your struggles are, your hopes and dreams. And anyway, I hope you have fun with it. I had fun teaching this to you, and we'll see you next time on FiddleHed. Go to FiddleHed.com for a progressive, step-by-step course outline, color-coded tabs, play-along tracks, sheet music, and much more. Thanks for watching the video. Love you.
And don't forget to subscribe. Thanks.